loves, and welcome back to BehatiLife YouTube channel. If you're meeting for the first time, welcome. And for those of you that are old friends and family, welcome back. As you guys can tell by the titles of today's video, we're going to be diving into our abundance mindset. This has been an energy that's been showing up a lot lately, not only in the collective consciousness here on BehatiLife YouTube channel, but also in my smaller collective BehatiLove Notes. This idea of new ideas and abundance and prosperity and security, stabilizing ourselves financially, being able to nourish and provide ourselves is really being supported lately here in the cosmos. Now, the reading that we're doing is going to be timeless, but I do believe that looking at the astrology charts right now, it's a wonderful time to dive into the ideas that may be bubbling up and even to confront any challenges that you have when you think about abundance and any type of blockages to your money mindset or abundance mindset. Okay, if you have any issues with lack or scarcity, those types of things that you hold on to, we're going to dive into that. So I do have 3 different messages for you to choose from. This is message number 1, this crystal here. This will be message 2, this crystal here. And this will be message 3, the sage bundle. So go ahead and take your time, allow the messages to fall together in the way that they should, and I will meet you at your timestamp. The messages will be linked down below. Okay, my loves, if you chose the first crystal, this is your reading, this is your message. What is your energy revolving? Finances, money, resources, security. We're going to be diving into that. I'm going to be shuffling for you live. And how can we help you to stabilize even further? Ooh, this card definitely wants to be out for you. I'm going to be live shuffling. I don't think I said that in the beginning of the reading. Oh my goodness, these cards are jumping out. Oh, let's go ahead and tilt this down. Interesting. I'm definitely getting a strong message here that someone either has a good idea. And as I say good idea, it's almost like someone may be questioning your idea. You may be questioning your idea. You may be a little hesitant on this like a venture or this idea that it is that you have. I'm getting an idea. I'm saying that multiple times because that's what's definitely coming through. Queen of Swords, Queen of Pentacles here. It's so interesting that these are the 2 queens. They, regardless of the fact that the Queen of Swords has a way of pushing away from her emotions, she still is someone who is able to nurture and support. It just comes through in a way that can be more strategic and logical. So this is what is showing me right now that, again, this idea, Ace of Wands is coming through. And this is, again, a new spark, a new passion, a passion project, an idea that it is that you have that in the future is ultimately going to help to take off the burden off your shoulders when it comes to security or stress with your career, your job. I want to say that if you chose this pile, there's a high chance that you're the type of person that you're like someone who's always grinding, someone who is always working towards something. You will always, like a hustler, like there's this energy of like hustling. And this may seem like you have what it is that I'm sensing. You may have multiple things that you do in order to make money. For example, if you have like a government job, then you have like a creative venture on the side. You may have do childcare, but then also sell food, like plates of food. If you are a restaurant owner, somehow you're doing consulting, like it's giving like multiple ventures. For someone here, Spirit is really excited for you for how creative you are and how many different outlets you have to showcase that security, that wealth. If you are someone who is, I don't say stuck in one job, but if you have one job, I think you need to remember that security for you could really look like having, again, more than one stream of income. You are so multifaceted that there's a really strong chance that you are going to have the opportunity to profit, to make money off of all of the many skill sets that is that you have. You could be creative and a logical, rational thinker. Either way, with the Queen of Pentacles here, she is a natural business owner. With the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles together, they are natural business owners. They are not persuaded by their emotions, moved by their emotions too much. They are people, energies who choose to do the right thing, the quote unquote, for business, even if that may be difficult. And hard for others to do, especially the Queen of Wands. Definitely the Queen of Cups can sometimes get kind of caught off, especially if she's off balance and, overwhelmed by life. So there is something here that is showing up with the 10 of Wands reversed that is going to help you to take off some of the pressure of like, maybe bills, but I can also see the pressure when it comes to like expectations that you have for yourself to kind of to stick with one thing. Yeah, I'm really getting a strong sense here that someone has some really powerful creative ideas, and Spirit wants you to really take them seriously. I also am getting a strong sense here that someone here needs to not ask others for their advice or their opinions, as even family. Look at this, 5 of Wands, competition here. So it's possible that you may have someone eyes kind of watching that compete with you or challenge you, and not in a good way, not to challenge you to be the most constructive, productive version of yourself. They may have inner battles within themselves that stop them from their ideas and from pursuing their passion projects. Don't let that be you. With the Hermit card reversed and the Temperance card reversed, we've got to be really careful. The voices, the information that we're absorbing from the external, those voices can become our internal. Even the Hanged Man here, this is a card of suspension and limbo, but notice how he's blindfolded and he also has one hand over his heart, right? He has one hand over his heart here. And I just feel like this is you tapping into your own wealth of wisdom, your own wealth of intuition, and how Spirit talks directly to you. The Hangman is suspended for a reason. He's suspended in air for a reason, because his lifeline, your lifeline, becomes the divine. It becomes your ancestors. It becomes your intuition, these higher powers, this higher wisdom. This is not a wealth of wisdom or an abundance of wisdom that is bestowed upon everyone. It's given to you for a reason, because you're the one who's capable. You're the one who can do it. There's a reason why other people don't have those ideas. And if they do have those ideas, there's a chance that they allow those ideas to slip from their fingers. You are really connected to the divine. You are really connected to your gift, your path here, your purpose. And it's up to you to I don't want to say carry the burden of that, but hold on to the weight of it, I guess, for now. The responsibility, and make it happen for yourself. You are also, there's so much energy here of like twos, being able to balance things. Okay, we have the queens, the 2 queens. We have the Chariot card, which deals with the two different opposing energies that are found within the masculine, the feminine, the shadow, the light, the logical, the grounded here. And then we also have the Temperance card reversed and the Hangman. So this connection to the divine, from being a human to being connected to divine energy, divine source. So it can feel a lot like like labor for someone else to kind of manage all of these and deal with these different opposing energies between action and non-action, between having ideas and being dormant, between jumping off in a leap of faith and then doing your research. But you guys got it. You really do have it. I'm gonna clarify the 10 of Wands because I'm really curious to see what specifically Spirit is seeing for the 10 of Wands here. 8 of Cups, Page of Pentacles, and the High Priestess. Yeah. If you have a new idea, my loves, it's really time for you to start building towards it and take that risk, take that leap of faith. You have already received, and for so many of you guys, you know this. It will reign true to you because you know this about yourself. You know that this happened. You know this is your reality. You've already received the download. You've already received the ideas, the insight. Now it's time for you to begin to not just plant that seed, but water it, tend to it, graciously give to it day to day. This is going to be something, if this is an idea, a business venture that you have, it's going to eventually pull you away from a regular 9-to-5 type of job. That's going to be something that you are going to need to prepare yourself to face. But if it's not today, don't worry about it. If it is today, you're going to be fine if it's time for you to take that leap of faith. It kind of reminds me how in the past when I was sharing my magic through BehatiLife with the world, and I had a quote unquote normal person job, a 9-to-5 and nonprofit, a nonprofit organization. I was managing their funding for people who are going to lose their children, But anyway, I was in my time off. Well, in my downtime, I would be pulling charts, sharing my message with the world. It started building up. Then at nights when I would go home, I would just be so focused on my magic, going to my altar, and then I would share that magic with the world. Then it got to the point where word got out, like Jess is real with her intention. She is real with her focus. This girl is sharp. She is a pistol. Her predictions are accurate. She doesn't miss. And word got out and things kind of spread. Eventually it got to the point where it was time for me to quit my job. I didn't even have a chance to feel fear, even though the fear was there, but I didn't have a chance to really sit with it too long because I had work to do. Page of Pentacles, 8 of Cups. I had work to do. It was time for me to catch up. And 10 years later, right? 10 years later, we're still doing it. So really what it is I share this message with you guys today is that eventually there's going to come a time where it's time for you to spread your wings and, take off and really take yourself seriously. Now, maybe other people, like I did hear some advice when people would ask me in my life. And the truth is I'm not someone who always asks for advice. From my peers or from family or friends. I talk to Spirit about it, and if whatever the answer is, I follow that. And then I kind of tell people this is what it is that I'm doing. I kind of invite you guys to do the same thing. It seems like you have the research, the know-how, the resources, the passion to move forward with this idea, this business venture. Or this when it comes to your spending. For someone here, it could be also investment properties. It's something about doing the research, and then finding out if something is worth investing in, and like Queen of Pentacles, and investing back into the business. So I wouldn't be surprised if you are a realtor or real estate of some nature, helping people with that type of people who are in limbo in their life, people who are moving from one stage of their life into the next chapter, and you have the information in order to help them to make that move, especially with the 10 of Wands. This is the card of moving. That's definitely something to look into if that's something that you've been considering or if you've heard it before. Let's go ahead and look into, if I hear anything else while I'm flipping over these cards, I'll pass over the message to you guys. Wow. That's so funny. So you have Standing Stones Passage. So again, you guys, someone here is moving from one form of wealth into the next form of wealth. And this usually is not an easy journey or an easy chapter. It's enough that it would challenge the average person and make them fearful, but this is for you to do, like, and you have the capacity to do this. You're being called into it. There's so much here about having like blind faith and doing your research and preparing yourself enough, but then when it's time to go. Someone here is really going to be walking away from a 9 to 5 or a regular job. I don't say regular job, but like the job that is normal for them or was normal for them, and they're entering into new territory, a new chapter. Let me go ahead and confront any type of blockages or resistance or challenges to this that you may be facing. Conclusion. For you, really, it's about saying goodbye. It's really, some of you guys, oh my God, look, letting go. For you, the major challenge is in letting go, saying goodbye to the old version of yourself that would have a boss that you can ask questions for. Now all the questions fall on your lap. Or maybe you have to move. Maybe you're moving, because I really see the energy of someone buying real estate or moving, maybe having a brick and mortar and moving into that. But it's that journey of like saying goodbye to one past season of your life and moving into the next season, and how uncomfortable that could be. The truth is like, I don't want to say that there's going to be a total sever of the tie here, but you kind of have to decide for yourself, am I going to take this leap into wealth mindset and prosperity mindset and, you know, really give my all to this, or am I going to half-ass it? Because you really can't straddle the line here and do both. It almost seems like it's giving like something is going to take off and grow so much that it's going to require a lot of you. I do see for some of you guys, you may need planners, like planning, or find something to help you organize, especially with the Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Swords. Your schedule, your time management skills are essential. If you say that you're gonna do something, make sure you follow through with it. I really do get a strong sense that there's minimal room for forgiveness, I guess, if you have clients that, or energy here that is like investing in you. It just seems like word of mouth will go a long way. Wow. Okay. We have energy here. It's complicated. Interesting. Why is it complicated? For some of you guys, the fledgling. Wow. Yeah, because you're starting over. For some of you guys, you may be taking care of people who are starting over in their lives, or you are starting over a new chapter. If you feel young, I'm really getting a strong message here that for someone here that feels young and is kind of like always under the umbrella of some safety net, maybe, you know, your parents, like living at your parents' home, or asking your partner for their advice, their opinion, helping your partner or your best friend with their business ideas. There's something about you kind of needing to stand in your own and tend to what you need to do for you on your own. It's like really challenging you to stand on your own 2 feet. I don't know if this is you not asking for opinions or advice and just doing it. But either way, this is like, okay, you got to do this for you. I also get a strong sense here that it's straddling 2 things, right? Knowing fully well that there's something here that, and it could be the security of a 9 to 5. It just seems like it's being challenged right now. And if you need to have a plan to help you to move forward so that you feel more safe and secure, then do that. But it's worth the fear that is that you feel, you're not going to feel it forever, because I do feel like something is going to take off. The internet people are here in the front of the house right now. So if you hear any noise, if you hear anyone calling out, that's that. Let me see if there's anything further. Ooh, definitely this deck is speaking to me for you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle and pull for that. What is it that they need to hear when it comes to their abundance, security, wealth? Work. Yep, you got to put in the work. Self-acceptance. Interesting. Relationships. Interesting. So there is maybe a chance to someone may be investing in you, helping a little bit, but I really get a strong sense that it's time for you to focus on the self. Like, there's nothing wrong with getting help, but make sure that that help doesn't eclipse your ideas, your power, and your ability to stand on your own 2 feet. Self-acceptance is really about you. It, like, the fact that this is coming forward in this reading, it's giving, you got to do this for you, and you can count on you, and you need you, and you have what it takes. And it's a lot of, like, you coming up with a solution, like you following, you following where you feel called, you investing in yourself, and you doing the work, like really grinding. Will there be people to help you? Yes, but just make sure that they don't eclipse your ideas. Any challenge that it is that I am seeing that would inhibit this person, if you chose this pile, from true abundance, I feel the major challenge is just maybe looking too much for others, for them to tell you if you're safe, for them to tell you if you have a good idea or not, for them to eclipse again where you feel called to do. It's nothing personal towards them. This is about you and your project and your work. And there comes a time and place where you get to be the leader. You get to call the shots. Okay. So, my loves, that is your reading. Let me know if this is a business or something here that you got here, or real estate. I'm really getting a strong sense here of like real estate. If you are working with a team, it's still like you working independently. Like, it's still so much emphasis on you carrying your weight and your workload. And like, if you have customers or clients, they follow you, they come with you word of mouth, for the rest of your life, truly. Because of your approach, because of your signature, how you handle, for some of you guys, like, let's say if you're a realtor, you build a reputation. Something about real estate keeps coming through here, but you build your reputation because you're truthful, you're forthcoming, you're not so concerned with the sale, that you overlook the fact that it's a family and it's not a good choice for them, but you stay quiet and you allow them to make a purchase, even though it's probably not, or you see problems that they can't see, but you just want the sale. You would never do that. You would be like, listen, guys, Queen of Swords here. I hear you. Like, this seems like but let me show you what I see is wrong. Let me show you what I think is not a good match, and why, and what you could do. And with my experience and what I've learned is fill in the blank. Respectfully, I'm going to let you decide, but like, that conversation makes people be like, yo, this is someone that I can truly count on. And word of mouth starts to spread. I also feel like you have a female audience, or like your clients are feminine. So, and they too are really empowered. Like, how they feel and their intuition aligns with you, and it just works. So that community, that word of mouth kind of like spreads. So yeah, that's what I see for you guys. If I had to recommend anything from the shop, I would do the Goddess Vibes oil. I would also do fertility. I would do a fertility candle, or the sweet waters. Oopsie, just knocked your crystal over. The sweet waters fixed candle. I would do a fertility oil. Like, I would 100%. I would do a fertility oil because you guys have something here. You just want to grow it. You know what I mean? I will be opening the shop up. After this really nice big stretch. Okay, my loves, I hope this helped you. Before I say goodbye, I want to invite you to check out BehatiLove Notes. I'm realizing that I want to call it like this humming collective community, because that's what it is, that it's always given, is like this hum of all of us together. Every time when I sit down and shuffle and pull for them, I feel I like literally lock into this hum of a hive. And I think this is what I've been feeling for a while and where I've been gravitating towards for a long time. But it's only just now come into fruition now, you know, these days. I've come really close to it with Sacred Circle Tarot. It was so close with like the conversations that we have and the power of the conversation, but I always even then felt like writing. Like I just love writing. So, and I love pulling the cards, and I love those conversations that we have and the journal prompts and all of it. So I really want to invite you there to explore that. It's truly my way of, it just feels so aligned with who I've always been. I just needed, you know, I hope that makes sense. But if not, I know what I'm trying to say. But the links for that will be down below. The shop will be opened up quietly. And if you would like to explore BehatiLove Notes, that little hive, that little hum, definitely check that out. And for those of you guys that are already subscribed to it and receive from it, let others know that how it, you know, how it helps you, the way that it helps you. Okay, or if you recommend it. Okay, my loves, I'm going to move on to the second message because I'm really curious to see the money messages for them. I don't feel like I talk about money enough here, but it's been coming up again in BehatiLove Notes. So passing it on here to the collective. All right, my loves, I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for allowing me to shuffle, pull, and connect with your energy. Moving on to the second money mindset abundance message here. All right, my loves, if you chose this crystal, this is your reading when it comes to money, security, wealth mindset, any blockages or anything like that. We're going to dive into it. I feel for you. I feel for you guys this deck right here. I'm going to be live shuffling. If you hear any noise, they're here working on the internet because we've been having some uploading issues. But it seems like they're having a conversation about other things outside the window. Which is so funny because, sorry to get all loud, but it's so funny because the first card to come up is actually focus and it's reversed. Meditation, reverse, interesting. Self-worth, reverse. I'm going to shuffle more on that one, but right away, what I am getting is like distractions. For some of you guys, you may be it's like giving almost like 7 of Cups energy here, where you have so many different ideas or so many influencing factors. It's giving ADD, ADHD mind, like a mind that's so overactive and so jumpy that it's hard to focus. Truthfully, it's hard for you to focus. Meditation is someone here. Okay, wow. Someone here may have like autism or be like neurospicy, neurodivergent in some ways. I also am getting someone who's just thinks differently, thinks outside the box. I'm also getting someone who your creative spurts, and they do come in surges. They are, I don't want to say unpredictable, but they're not predictable. Like they're not like every Tuesday I do this. Damn it. Like, okay. Spirit's really telling me like you can't really expect yourself to be like work on a routine. Bop, 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 bop. You kind of have to allow some pivots, some deviations here. If not, you're going to find yourself, your creativity getting squashed. You're going to even find it hard for yourself to talk because you trip over your thoughts. You could be a writer and you just get surges of words just boom, like flooding you. And if it's like this wheels, the gears start spinning, and I just see sparks, and it's literally your mind, your energy is just like whirring to life. Okay, that's why the self-worth is coming through. So it's almost like you guys start to beat yourself up because you think that there's something wrong with you, but it's not. You're brilliant, and brilliant people just think differently. They move differently. They have different ways of capturing. Are you guys using voice notes? Can you please, like, even as I'm sitting here, I'm like, please use voice notes to like capture all of your ideas. Allow yourself to get creative, capture the idea, and then organize it later. If you're a writer, an author, this is definitely like someone who publishes, a blogger, a content. So capture it in voice notes or something where you can just get the ideas out random. It could be in Target and you're like talking to yourself. It seems that way. Capture that moment. Have a little voice recorder. And then on those down times where the energy starts to surge down and starts to even out, that's when you start to organize it and make it make more sense. You piece together and string together the brilliant ideas that you had, and then you can edit them. But don't try to capture, organize, edit. Allow yourself to just be quote unquote disorganized, but it's really not disorganized thinking. It's creative, brilliant thinking. Wow, there's a lot of energy coming. There's so many sparks flying off. I'm also seeing the Titanic, the symbolism of the Titanic, like something so big, so brilliant, so unsinkable, but it's like if you're not careful, you can sink yourself, you know? This pile is almost giving similar messages to the first pile, where it's important that you don't look to others for insight. Like, hey, what do you think? Because they think differently. Like the way that their minds and their brains work is different. So how can they relate or advise you? Also, they may suggest medication, which I don't, if that's what works for you, by all means, but there are also resources. Hold on just a second. There's also other resources that can help you to like capture your ideas, your brilliant ideas. Just a second. Hold on. All right, my love. Sorry about that. Oh my God, that actually just aligns with the distractions. You guys definitely, this is not just my reality. But seriously, this pile, if you chose this message, you probably have so many distractions coming through. It's like insane. So many things that are just like, boop, 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 like squirrel pulling you. Four of Pentacles. Interesting. This card being upright. This is about locking up the fortress, protecting the fortress. The fortress could be your brain. The fortress could be your thinking creative space. The fortress could be you protecting how you, I don't say the time that you allot to give yourself to be creative, but yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like for some of you guys, you're trying to like block your creative surges. And what it is like when you feel it coming in, cause you guys can feel this. Like you can feel when you got an, words, information, messages, like the story, the character development. Like it's giving author, it's giving someone who writes. For some of you guys, it could be, you know what? It could be kind of similar to what it is that I do. I've learned from the jump, it's just not normal and natural for me to force myself to be creative. I could be in the shower, talking to someone, listening to them talk about their issues, their problems, and I get this surge, this intuitive download that I speak life into them, and from that it fractures off and splinters off in a different direction, and then I have the next recipe for a candle, an oil, intention, magic that they use in their life to fix that issue, fix that problem, or make their life better. And if I was to sit down and be like, okay, it's Monday morning, the rest of the world is waking up at 7 a.m. to be at their 9 to 5 job, I'm going to do the same thing. My magic, my intention will be not even half of what it could be. So really what I do is I walk around, and to be honest with you guys, now that I think about it, you may be like me, you have like a bunch of journals, like a bunch of notebooks. For whatever reason, maybe we have this in common. I could never just stick with one journal for ideas. I have a journal that I can pour my emotions and my feelings into, but when it comes to actually writing ideas down, that it always gets, I don't say scattered, but it doesn't stay in one spot no matter how hard I try. And that's just a part of my process. Now with Four of Pentacles, this is the card of being stern and predictable and like holding on to things, kind of keeping things controlled and contained. For you, it's almost like it's like controlled chaos. It's like a tornado in a jar, a glass jar. It's the space for you to allow yourself to be creative, to be wild, to be natural, to be brilliant, and not squash that, but to contain it after the fact, to give it life, to give it bones, to give it support and structure. So I just feel like that's so very important. Oh my God. 7 of Cups. There it is. You guys saw me live shuffle. Like, there's no way I could make this up. Like, Spirit just is speaking. And it's so funny. 7 of Cups and the Judgment card. This is all of those ideas. All of a sudden they come pulling up and out of you. It's like a volcano. Like you know the lava's there, but it just needs the right time. It needs the right heat, and all of a sudden it comes up. And we don't judge the volcano for exploding. We are impressed by its strength and its power. So for you guys, it's when you explode, you want to capture those ideas, capture those moments, capture the narrative, capture these voices, these characters, whatever it is that you have here. For me, it's magic. For me, it's like I could wake up, I go to bed, and I'll wake up and I'm like, in my dream, my ancestors literally come through and they're like, this is what we did, this is what we did, this is what you need, this is how you do it, make it last for 7 days. After 7 days on this time, pull the astrology charts, Jess, you'll see. And it's like, okay, I write it down. And I think that's why it's never really in one journal, because it's always whatever I have on hand at the moment. It could be on a napkin, it could be on my phone, it could be in my journal, it could be on a receipt. It's always whatever it is that I have. But I will say I always have a Sharpie pen on me. Besides right now. I normally, you guys know the Sharpie fine point pens. I always have a Sharpie on me or within close range. Yeah, so at least there's that. Wow, 10 of Pentacles. Look at this. High Priestess and the 3 of Wands. So it's you expecting and you knowing that this is the way that it's going to be for the rest of your life. You don't need to change it. Expect 3 of Wands is the card of like, I know that this is coming in. I know that this is on its way to me. These ideas, this brilliance. High Priestess is literally the intuitive download. 10 of Pentacles is the legacy. So for some of you guys, again, this could be really similar to what I was saying, where my ancestors, many of them were practicing witches or were witches but had different names, right? They had to kind of cover the name up with something else, but they were doing all types of rites and rituals. Even, not to put my grandma on blast, but even my grandma now, she's really Catholic and has a lot of fear, but that woman is powerful. And she would never say that that's what it is, but she has a lot of things that she does to protect us, to protect the house. She is very insanely intuitive, but she's always been very powerful, but has always kind of like pushed that away in a small way. And then on the opposite end, you know, there's magic on that end, but it came from a different form. So what it is that I'm trying to say, and then then it's like you have my grandma being my grandma, and then you have that next layer of who raised her or who was connected to her. and the blood lineage, and how strong and powerful and medicinal that person was, and how they leaned into their power to the point where it made the other fearful. So the truth, what it is that I'm trying to say is that there's some type of ancestor and lineage that is coming through that is inspiring you and encouraging you, if not through ideas, then at least through, you guys have the similar ways of thinking. So you may want to just like walk around with a pen at all times. Look, change. But it's so interesting with the dragonfly spirit. It's like this little, I always see the dragonfly as like something that kind of touches down, like do, 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 never just like sits for too long. And this literally reminds me of your thoughts, the way that your brain works, the way that these ideas come in, they just kind of pop, 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 pop. It's different and it's beautiful. It's powerful. I can relate. Let me go ahead and look into the nature oracle card and see what we have there. Oh my goodness. Yeah, new doorways. Flowing and evolving, exactly. There's this need to kind of allow yourself to flow with your ideas. Or you may also be really, I don't say or, and, this is an and you are connected to the spirits of creativity and feminine flow and change, things constantly changing. Apply past lessons, interesting. What does that mean? Why is that coming up? Okay, I feel like the apply past lessons is control. How in the past you may have tried to control your thoughts or your creative seasons. Does it ever work? I'm getting this message of like, when did it ever work? If it didn't work then, why would it work now? And if it's working to do anything, it's kind of like corroding your self-esteem. Don't do that. Don't do that. Ooh, look at that, the Lovers. It's like coming into alignment with who you are and what works for you and just incorporating it. Like these are the tools that make you successful. These are the tools that help you. You're not supposed to judge yourself or the journey or how brilliance surges through you. You just make them work for you. Okay. So thank you guys so much for allowing me to connect and channel for you and your energy. For you, I honestly feel, excuse me, I'm really getting, if I had to recommend anything from the shop, I would say the Sacred Space Cleansing Candle to help clear out fog in the mind, fog, clear out the space. You guys are going to be definitely for the rest of your life, honestly. And I don't want to say that so boldly, but I do feel that there's just people who need to make sure that they're cleansing their headspace and cleansing their altar and making sure that you're cleansing out your headspace. So I'm seeing, if not, things would get bogged down real fast. You can get really distracted, really fractured, pick up on other people's energy, carry other people's energy. So just make sure that you're clearing your headspace out. So Sacred Space, fixed candle for sure. And I also feel the third eye. Ooh, girl, the third eye oil is a must. A must. Just anointing your crown chakra or your third eye before you go to bed. I just saw 11:11 on the clock. So, the shop will be quietly opening. Also, I want to invite you guys to check out BehatiLove Notes. It's my little community where I was just saying to those who chose the first message, I'm realizing how much of a humming hub it is, like literally this humming energy. Every time I sit down to connect with them, it's like I can hear the energy of the hive buzzing. And I was kind of telling them the epiphany that I had recently, which is like, wow, this is what I've been building this entire time. Not the Apothecary. Sacred Circle Tarot School got really close to it, but BehatiLove Notes is essentially where just the best parts of me really shine. We saw it a little bit. We saw it a lot in my Astro Chat lives, where I would come in and sit and talk with you guys, have those powerful conversations. For a lot of you guys were like, yo, it feels like church. You would show up every Monday, and Sacred Circle would show up every Tuesday, and I would just pour into you. I just love writing, and I love diving into the journaling, the prompts, the rituals of it all. And to be able to sit and just be still within that is powerful. And I just feel like that's when I'm my best. All of those things have really kind of combined to create BehatiLove Notes. So I really feel like I found my niche, if you can believe that. Like, Jess, I know some of you guys are like, Jess, you have success, you do this, you're there, you were on this, in this magazine, that. Yes, but if I had to define it as successful, I think that there are incredible accomplishments along the journey, but BehatiLove Notes for me is the thing that really stands out as like, oh shit, like this is where I belong. So I will send the links down below for you guys to check that out. It is an honor to be able to pour into you guys there. And do make sure that you're subscribed to this YouTube channel, because I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Moving on to the third message, which is connected to the Sage bundle. All right. Money, abundance, and manifestation. All right, my loves, if you chose the Sage bundle, this is your message when it comes to financial wealth, abundance, security. Any blockages that I see, ways to help you to tap in, dive into that even further. Interesting, because while I was talking just now, I was really feeling called to use a different tarot deck. So I'm going to use this one. If you hear any noise in the background, it's my daughter. Abundance mindset. What's going on with their Seven of Wands? I always love this card because it's like it signifies sometimes when we get overwhelmed by life, and I like that the author, the artist, chose to connect with the yoga card to not focus on the problem, but create a solution for when we do feel bombarded by life. The thing that's coming through here is alignment. For someone here, it's so interesting. You will not find wealth or security or even a sense of stability, right? If you do not first seek alignment. And I'm sure a lot of you guys feel that. Like, you could be like a multimillionaire, and there's a part of you that's just like still feels destabilized or uncomfortable or unsettled, because for you it's not about the money, it's about the alignment, the purpose, and the connection. Wow. The Empress, Three of Wands, interesting. The Death card, wow. Okay, so I do feel the Empress, number one, is very creative. She's a natural nurturer, obviously. Everything she touches tends to grow. With that being said, you want to keep going back to source, to always ask for the clarity, the courage to move with alignment, and to not choose things or race into things because of survival. Not that you would, but in the past you probably would have noticed that if you chose to do a job because it quote unquote made sense, it ends up not making sense because it doesn't feel aligned. Three of Wands is the ability to look into the future or see something or see past something or see into something and understand, like have a return. yes, in superficial tarot readings, we'll be like, okay, this is your ability to look into the future and be like, okay, I can see what's going to happen next as far as events or something that is coming down the line that we can expect. But really what it is that I'm seeing here is something resonating, like looking into the future and resonating, be like, there it is. Like that feeling of like, like it's approaching, it's here, I've connected. But when the Three of Wands is reversed, we have to make sure that we are not moving, like it's just not resonating, like something doesn't resonate, so it doesn't connect. And it brings you back into, okay, the arms of spirit, the arms of your sacred space, the quiet space where you come into yourself, you come to the divine and you say, okay, I need you to guide my steps right now because an opportunity showed up, but it doesn't feel aligned for me. And for that reason, I got to let it go. For someone here, you have path and purpose, but it changes. You may find that you are doing the same thing, but you just move in a different direction any different times. You just kind of pivot, click, dot, dot, dot. Expect yourself to evolve. And that's why you have to keep kind of coming back to source and just being like, okay, where to next? Like what resonates? This is a non-traditional path as well. Some of you guys may find that you have a lot of answers flowing to you during or after like a yoga practice or meditation, or something as like self-nurturing as like getting a massage, taking care of like your face, aesthetic, getting your hair done, washing your hair, taking a vacation, or stepping away. If you go for walks on the beach, the ocean, it's like things kind of flow and make sense in those moments. I really want to love. Yeah, it's like you have to love it. Like it has, when you write on paper like, oh, this person has this, and this is the right choice for me. But then you meet that type of person and it's just like the sparks don't fly and there's no connection and there's no chemistry and it just doesn't feel aligned. So you can't really love it because you don't like it and it doesn't reign true. It's not in alignment. The same thing comes with abundance and security mindset, like wealth consciousness. Like for you, just like everyone else, it's interesting. You can't look for things to kind of like make sense on paper. It's a vibe. What is their advice? Like, what am I supposed to say to them? Like, come on. They're like, exactly. A lot of you guys need to continue to expect major pivots. Do you know how, I'm being kind of called to remind you guys, like when you're in a relationship, you're married to someone for 60 plus years, like every 10 years or 8 years, that person, like a part of them like dies and another part of them is reborn. So you're constantly being challenged to learn who this person is today, what they're interested in, what they like. Even though it's the same person, is it? And I feel like the same thing is true for your career, your wealth. There's something that has to evolve, something that majorly changes and shifts. And it's just, you have to expect it. For some of you, if you're not having a total separation from something that you went to school for or something that you started off doing, then your career or what it is that you're doing changes in a big way, and you have to kind of reflect. You're reflecting that energy shift now. Spirit is about, yep. Happiness at hand, yep. Change. Balance. Yeah, this card was reversed though. I want to tell you that in my magical practices, rituals, pine, or if I'm in a pinch, pine sol. I get down on my hands and my knees. I create a whole concoction with the pine or pine sol, depending. And I do a full cleanse of the floors, the walls, because energy builds up and there's change afoot. And if not, the energy gets stagnant. It gets weird. It gets misaligned. It's not a vibe. I see the same thing for you guys. Like, you do this, you're supposed to do this after death or after a major transition in your life. It doesn't necessarily mean that someone passes, but definitely if someone does, but like, or if there's like a breakup, you have to cleanse the space. In your career and with your wealth, anytime when you're experiencing a major pivot, it's time to do a whole like floor wash, or because sage, burning sage and smoke is not going to be enough. You guys have to do the floor wash. Mix it with pine sol. I have a floor wash in my shop. Yeah, it's like anytime there's a major, if not, you'll find that you'll experience blockages in your blessings because spirit is trying to move. Spirit is trying to change the direction of like where it is that you are being called to move. You'll know because you're no longer happy. And you know when people say like, okay, happiness is fleeting, so be consistent, be stable. Sure, for the average Joe, but you're not the average person. You have a bigger plan here, or spirit. There's a spiritual influence. I want to say that if you chose this pile, you are probably a tarot reader, intuitive, energy work, healer. Even if you're like doing massage, somehow you're incorporating Reiki into it. Some of you guys are root workers, similar to myself, working your magic, working your intention. And you have to take like little windows where you're off the radar, recharging your energy, cleansing your space, cleansing your energy, like your physical body, your mental body, doing whole bath work. If not, you're going to feel misaligned, because not that you are on the wrong path, but it's like you're still kind of showing up and operating with the same energy that needs to be shed. For some of you guys in this pile, if your wealth isn't coming from, and your wealth may be measured differently, right? So wealth may not mean that you are making thousands of dollars a month or a week or whatever. It could be the wealth of who you help. It could be an audience. It could be the influence that you have, not even as an influencer, but like just the influence, the change that it is that you make. For some of you guys, there's something here that you need to let go of. I'm getting a sense of someone like shaving their head, so it could be like shaman or initiation. Yeah, spirit just really is speaking to you. You're also, this may really challenge you if you're young. God bless you. If you're young, you probably have an old soul, and you're going to have many moments in your life where you're going to be like, I don't know how this is going to happen. But spirit always makes a way. I don't know how. Even as I look at my life now, I relate to this pile. As I look at this now, I'm like, how? Or I'll be like, okay, this is how I'm called to show up now. This is how I'm called to connect. And I'm just like, you are challenging me there. Are you sure? This feels bigger than me. This feels greater than me. And if I ignore it, I will not feel settled until I do it, whatever it is. And then I'm like, wow, that needed to happen, and I understand now, but it's not for my understanding. Wow, I'm really called to read to you guys from this deck. For some of you guys, you may have normal jobs, but it's so interesting because you have your healing ability is so great, but the normal jobs help you to disconnect and separate and ground after major energy work. For some of you guys, cleaning is really important too. Oh, you have a mermaid here. I'm not even surprised to see that, because with the death card, I always see the mermaid tail, the symbolism of that. I'm going to read this card to you. And then I have to go. A river meanders amid a thick forest, punctuating and feeding the dense undergrowth that would otherwise see no sunlight. Through the mist hanging low over the river, she watches over her village, bringing the blessings of the rainbow. A shapeshifter, she may appear in many forms. And that's for some of you guys, you're literally like, I don't say shapeshifting, but something similar. She may quench the ground in the form of life-giving rain. She can transform herself into a snake, stealthily moving through situations unnoticed but noticing all. She can also transform into misty clouds or refract the light within herself to become a rainbow and bestow the blessing of heaven. Her smile radiates with the strength of the sun. She also has a direct line to the healing principles and actions of her world. She reserves her communication for healers and trains them through snake-filled dreams. She is nurturing, ethereal, elegant, and powerful, and for the uninitiated, just out of reach. As a water dweller, she is also a staunch advocate for protecting our waterways and earth. She wants you to pray for rivers and all bodies of water. This fierce protectress is asking you to bring all of your shapes, ways of being, and ways of knowing to the situation in order to create healing for yourself, your community, and your planet. Literally, that's what I'm trying to say. You show up how spirit needs you to show up to heal others. This is the pile of those who are deep healers. Even with the lake and the pond here, there's a deep healing here. Balancing the emotions, you help others with that, but you also need to make sure that you are balanced within yourself first. And that's why this cleansing, purging needs to happen, not only within you, but also within your home, your house, your sanctuary, your spots. And I wouldn't be surprised if you have like a simple job or an easy job, something that is mindless, so that you can continue to show up and do this work. And that job could be helping you to pay the bills, but it could just be a sense of purpose, like something else that contributes to purpose that is not overwhelming and doesn't carry the same weight and the magnitude of the gifts that you give and leave to others. It says the invitation here is to bring all of your seemingly disparate parts to the situation at hand. Welcome every iteration of yourself and shine. The next card, of course, 22, of course. Yep, connection to the moon. This is definitely the healer, the mystic, the intuitive, the empath, the shaman, the Reiki healer, the medicine woman, the witch. Okay, wielding her cosmic bow, she directs the life force of the moon into cosmic arrows, infusing them with moon fire, the life-giving energy that animates humans, animals, and plants. She releases the arrows full of splendor, watching carefully as each bright bolt hits the mark, sparking the soul of the newly born. In an endless cycle of rebirth, literally death and rebirth, she claims your soul at death. Older than the oldest Akan deity, she is the original curator of the mysteries. Without beginning and without end, the creatrix gathers all energies onto herself, giving birth first to herself as the moon and then to the universe. Stirring her lunar cauldron containing the infinite of the universe, she continues to birth the stars, planets, and other skybound bodies. This is literally a part of your path and your process. You give birth to the stars. You're like, Jess, how does that pay the bills? Well, honestly, guys, to answer your question, it's not about paying the bills alone. It's about the magic. It's about the healing. It's about the energy. And that is a different form of wealth. And once you get it, you will know. And when you don't understand and it just doesn't make sense to you, you still have a ways to go. Like you'll eventually get there. And I know that for some of you guys, that's confusing and frustrating, but one day you're going to look back at this reading and it's going to make sense to you. Or one day you'll remember this reading, remember this moment, and it will make sense. You'll be like, oh, I get it. It wasn't about my bank account. It was about the path, the purpose, the alignment, the magic, the conjuring, the power, the ritual, the initiation, the ancestry. The sun created last marked the sun created last, which is so interesting because the sun, I'm reading this again. The sun represents what is exposed, revealed, and highlighted for us. But this is the moon. This is mystery, subconscious, psychology, magic, ritual. The sun, created last, marked the end of the 24-hour terrestrial rotation. Often sunrise is considered the beginning of the day. However, she's asking you to reconsider the primacy of lunar power. What if your daily cycle began with the rise of the moon? I'm the same way. This is actually the pile that I chose for myself. Pay particular attention to the moon, availing yourself of its power. The new moon is an auspicious time to set intentions, start new projects, or activate collaborations. The full moon is a time to harvest the fruit of the endeavors you began at the new moon. The invitation here is to move in symphony with the moon's phases and embrace rhythms and cycles of change. So this is a very mystical, magical pile, and that's where your wealth will come from. I can relate to this greatly, deeply. That is, it makes the most sense for me. So my loves, I hope that this spoke to you. For some of you guys, it made you more confused, and that's okay, because this journey is really, really different. It's really, really unique. It's really, really powerful, and it's not common. She's so cute. Do you hear my little girl celebrating? She's so happy. Okay, my loves, I want to invite you to explore BehatiLove Notes. I was just saying to the other two piles that I've had a recent epiphany that this group is it is what I've been working towards my entire life, not even realizing it. Whenever I sit down to shuffle and pull cards for them and pull the charts, I instantly hear the hum, and I realize it was the hum of the hive. And some of you guys have felt this and experienced this with Sacred Circle Tarot School or Astro. Oh my goodness, my brain is Astrology Live, like when we would go live on Mondays. Astro Chat, that's what it was. Astro Chat on Mondays. You would say it was like church. It would just speak into you, speak life into you. Pretty much what this is the channeling of that, and like a constant pouring into, whether it's through the astrology charts, through the tarot readings, the intuitive readings, the shufflings, the rituals. All of those things can be provided for you guys there. The intention is to nurture and nourish you. As you guys can see, I'm better with writing than I am with words, but the words come through when it's time. The links for that will be down below. Until then, thank you guys so much for allowing me to connect with your energies. If I had to oh goodness, this one's easy. Do you hear her? If I had to recommend anything from the shop, because I'm quietly reopening the shop, I would recommend the High Priestess candle. I would also recommend, she's so cute. She's so vocal and so funny. I would recommend Third Eye Oil too as well. Yeah, big time. Or a cleansing. Or a cleansing, banishing, removal candle to deep cleanse. And this could be any type of lingering energies that you have. Clearly, if you chose this pile, it's not like you're going to hear this and then like tomorrow help. You've already done serious work. Somehow you know that you could have helped someone transition on from this life to the next already. You could be a prophetess. You could be exploring your talents, your skills. You would have already had some work done. Like you would have already been doing this type of work, whether you realized it or not. Just make sure that your energy is clear of it. Anytime, again, remember the pine sol. Oh, the floor wash. That's what it is. Because I'm looking at the candles right now and the oils, and I'm like, yes, they work, but there's something else. It was the floor wash. The floor wash I highly recommend. All right, my loves, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for allowing me to connect with your energy. Until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.